your marketing channels for blockchain. Enjoy this fireside chat offering a fresh outlook on viable marketing channels for blockchain. Brian Wong, Kip. Monty Munford, Mob 76.
Hello, can you hear us?
Good afternoon, everyone! Yeah, woo! Let's get hyped up.
We can't hear you. A bit louder, please.
Louder, yes. Yeah,
Come on.
more, come on, yeah!
The loudest one gets Brian's signed book.
So ready?
1,
done?
2, 3, go! He
That guy.
stood up,
Yeah,
right?
Okay, he's got it. Yeah.
Dude,
Don't hit him. Okay,
there you
good.
go.
Okay, good.
Brian, nice to meet you, bro.
Pleasure.
We haven't waited too long to get on stage, have we?
Not too long.
Everyone wants to go out. We've got 7 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll speak really quickly. Keep 8 years, you Valley entrepreneur. Carry on.
Yeah, so we're an 8-year-old company. We're not a startup anymore, I guess. We're based in San Francisco. We're venture-backed, so about 32 million raised so far from funds like Verizon Ventures, MX Ventures. But the short of it is we're a mobile advertising business. So we actually took the idea of mobile ads that people don't actually like. I mean, I don't think anyone here has ever looked at an ad on their phone and went, let me tap on that on purpose, right? Because they're interruptive, they're in your face. So we had a simple insight was what if we could convert an ad into a reward? So by being active on your phone, if you were doing something, let's say you finished a run in a running app, Gatorade, instead of just showing you an ad, could actually reward you. And in this case, could be a coupon, could be a fitness lesson, whatever it might be. So
Do you remember Sweatcoin?
Yes.
Sweatcoin built
They're,
on that. Yes.
they're one of our biggest partners.
I love that guy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, he took me to some music awards in London. I'll never forget him. He's
They're
a
great
lovely,
crew.
lovely guy.
Exactly.
Okay, but 8 years ago, when you were doing that, the
Yeah.
idea of vouchers or that form of reward program was very unfashionable, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of brands were like, why would I reward people in the ads? And actually, I will tell you, since all the controversy around Facebook and how users like us, consumers, we feel like our data is being taken advantage of, and of course, with GDPR rolling out, there's now a value attributed to a person, and it's very explicit. In fact, I would argue that as a person, you are a walking currency, and that's why you're able to use these products for free. But now, more often, brands are very comfortable with the idea of rewarding people in the form of advertising, because this value exchange is creating better response.
Jared Lanier referred to that in one of his books about your personal currency and who you are. Okay, so I would imagine with a crypto blockchain audience that Keep might be people might not like you here because of the way that you've progressed or evolved.
I think it's not about, we love everyone. I'm Canadian. Everyone likes Canadians, so why not? Don't worry, I'm not American. You can like me. The idea is, I'm messing with you guys. The idea was we've already created this network. So we have 11,000 apps that use our technology, about 108 million active users a month. So the idea was simple.
A month?
Per month.
Active.
Active.
Promise.
Deduped. Unique user IDs.
Promise.
Promise.
On your heart.
On my heart.
Roger Rog.
8 years of building this shit, right? Nothing happens overnight.
Okay.
And so we worked really hard to build this network together. We said, okay, well, people are used to getting rewarded. They already know what it's like to be rewarded in an ad. What if we were to use a token as a way for a brand to also buy advertising, and in the same vein, reward the user with the same token?
When was that?
That was in late last year.
Okay.
We started talking about it. Okay. And then in June, we launched our first project. So something you should know, our biggest objective is to figure out how to get the biggest pools of advertising dollars into using blockchain technology. Ultimately, these are brands like McDonald's, Coke, Pepsi, Kraft, Kellogg's, brands we've all heard of and love. And without those dollars being in the system, it's kind of a moot point, right? You want to have those people involved. And ultimately, I think that advertising as an industry has a lot of cleaning up to do. Some of you may know that $1 spent on an ad basically 60% of it disappears by the time it shows up to you when you see it on your media. So that whole missing 60 cents, where is that going, right? And so we wanted to showcase that. So in June of this year at the Cannes Lions Advertising Festival, we actually launched the world's first blockchain recorded mobile ad campaign. I know it's a bunch of bullshit, but it really isn't. We actually recorded the data onto Ethereum in batches. But the whole point is we got one of the world's biggest advertisers on board. You may have heard of them. They're called Anheuser-Busch. They have Budweiser, Bud Light, Stella Artois. And our main goal was if we have the world's biggest advertisers on board, again, others will pay attention and start to follow. That's the number one. If we do not execute real projects with real money behind it, with real customers, we lose patience with the industry. People will think of it as vaporware, a bunch of snake oil. So we wanted to have something very real.
I have a question for you. 8 years ago, you set up, not on the blockchain. If you were setting up Keep now, let's forget your experience, would you set your company up on blockchain now?
Yeah, there's a time machine, and I would have started the company today.
You would?
It would have been built on blockchain, 100%.
Right, okay.
Yes.
And the reason for that would be?
Because the technology has a trust component behind it that brands and agencies are both fearful but welcoming of. Ultimately, a lot of companies have made money off of asymmetric information, right? Not knowing where this money is going, keeping margins, arbitrage.
Making it complicated.
Intentionally complicated, using long acronyms and words to describe shit so people don't understand you and end up paying you more money so that you can explain things to them. Sounds a lot like our fucking industry, right? So the idea here is how do we clean it up but use the fundamental, raw, pure technology underlying blockchain is around the trust piece that we've all kind of fucked by making it so confusing. So if you keep it simple for us, it was just, let's just show you radical transparency. Every single cent that you spent on this dollar, you will see exactly which impression it bought.
Yeah. So make it really simple for old white men.
Yes.
Would that be right?
Yes, because a lot of them...
And then, because they still have control, right?
Yes, they
are.
And
then it filters down through the chain of whoever runs which agency or which brand.
Correct.
Because this is a branding...
A lot of the dollars are moved around by CMOs, large brands, right? They have other things to worry about. They just figured programmatic advertising out. They just figured out what a CDP is or a DMP, customer data platform, a data management platform.
CEP?
Customer data platform.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries. I'm explaining to you, right? So the idea was how do we just give them something that's easy to catch on to, which is I want transparency. So the first step is that, and then the rest follows.
Okay, we've got a minute left, right? Which is stupid because
we
could talk
it's all
for
good. We got to
ages.
respect this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We spoke earlier about arranging this and all that stuff, and you said you wanted to, which confused me a little bit. You said you wanted to do a huge shout out to the reverse ICOs.
Yes, I think as reflected in the panels before, we are now getting to a kind of a cycle, right? We started with this insanity and all this craziness, and now it's back to a bit more sober, although neither of us are sober right now, investing and projects. So the idea was, I think reverse ICOs, larger companies, if you are a founder or an executive at a company that has been operating for years, that have real revenues and customers, do not be afraid to launch into this space because these are the projects that are being taken the most seriously right now. These are the ones that are attracting the most capital, which is just logical, right? You want to have something that has a track record, that is producing real products, that real customers are buying, and not just buying, but buying repeatedly. And that's just business 101. And if that type of company is attractive, the technology is part of it. It isn't the focus of it. I always like to compare blockchain a lot in this last point to cloud. I don't tell you today now when I'm sharing a document with you and announcing it proudly, I'm using cloud technology to share a document with you. No, I just share a fucking document with you. Blockchain, I think, eventually will just fade. The word will not even be relevant anymore. It'll just be a part of the magic of how we do business together.
Like digital.
Like digital.
You know what I mean?
Thank you very much, everybody.
That's it, we've got to go.
Yeah.
Thank you.